Hey everybody, and welcome back to another book review. This book I was actually pretty excited to read. I've had it on my list for a little while, and it is the Shadow and Bone book. That is the first book in the Grishaverse for the Leigh Bardugo trilogy. I was really excited to start reading this, especially after seeing the TV show on Netflix. It's a pretty good show, so if you haven't watched it, definitely say check it out. But this book was actually pretty good. It is a fantasy kind of book, fantasy novel, and it focuses a lot with people that have different abilities and powers, and they're called the Grisha. And then you have other people who don't have powers, and I can't quite pronounce their name. It sounds very Russian slash Scandinavian in some ways. It's just a really interesting book, and especially after watching the series and then reading the book, I see a lot of similarities in the country of being kind of more of like Russia. They just seem very Russian to me. But then like all the other countries kind of represent countries that are nearby to Russia. So you have the Fjordans who kind of remind me of the Scandinavians. You have the Shuhan, or what they call Shu. They kind of remind me of China or other parts of Asia. And so I just thought it was really interesting. I liked the book. It was a pretty easy read, nice and gentle. It still gave you like a sense of, this is definitely an adult fiction book. What I wasn't a huge fan of, and I think part of it is just because I talked to somebody right before I read it, and so that may or may not have colored my judgment, but one of the big complaints that I heard and that I've read about before is that they felt like the book had a lot of color and a lot of diversity in it, and I didn't really find that in the book. None of the characters are actually described as skin color. So a lot of times, when they're describing characters, they say, like eyes and hair, skin color and all that. In this book, there's no skin color really talked about unless it's something in particular. So like the Darkling, who's kind of the evil guy, he is described as pale, so that, that's kind of really the only skin deterioration. So I didn't really find that the book was diverse, but I also didn't find that it wasn't diverse because of the fact they don't really describe skin color. So there's that. But for everybody that hasn't watched the book or watched the series or read the book, it's really just a fun book about a girl named Alina and her basically finding her power and her will to be strong in the face of adversity, which I really appreciate. There's a lot of fun characters there. So yeah, it was a good book. A real short book review for this one. I would probably give it like a 3.5 out of 5. There were some parts of it that I wanted to have like a little bit more background, a little bit more description on, but the vast majority of it, the book follows, the first book here follows the first season of the series really well. So like I already knew everything that was gonna happen, so I wasn't super worried about it. But so yeah, that is it for this book review. Thank you guys so much for the suggestion, or somebody suggested it a while back. But super excited to read the next book in the series whenever I get to that. But as always, please continue to drop book suggestions in the comments. And if you have thoughts about it, especially in comparison to the series, would love to hear your thoughts. I've been talking to a lot of different people about their feelings between the book and the series. Those are always fun. So I look forward to seeing you in the next book review. Bye.